Hey Maker, on Etsy, where millions of sellers are trying to stand out, your thumbnail image is key to getting your product noticed. I'm Christina Nicole, product photography coach for makers, and in this video, I'm going to share the best practices to boost your clicks and make your thumbnail photo stand out. A thumbnail is a small image that represents your product in search results, on your shop homepage, and even in social media shares. It's typically the first interaction a shopper has with your product, serving as a preview of what you have to offer. Despite its small size, this image carries significant weight in influencing a shopper's decision to click on your listing or move on to the next. Your thumbnail isn't just an image. It's a powerful marketing tool that can make or break your success on Etsy. In that split second when a shopper sees it, it must perform 4 essential marketing functions. First, your thumbnail must grab attention. Etsy is a crowded marketplace with many products competing for the shopper's attention. The main job of your thumbnail is to make your product stand out from the competition. A captivating, original, high-quality image can grab attention, spark curiosity, and entice shoppers to click on your listing. On the other hand, an unoriginal, dull, or low-quality image might lead shoppers to overlook your listing entirely. While it's important to research your competition and review the thumbnails of best-selling products in your category, some sellers mistakenly think they should copy those thumbnails because they appear to be working. Standing out means being different. To achieve this, you must use original photos. Whether they're photos you've taken yourself, mock-ups you've created yourself, or photos you had someone take for you. Avoid using generic or purchased mock-ups, as originality is key to capturing attention. A quick, easy, and free way to check the thumbnails of best-selling products in your category is to go to Etsy, type in a long-tailed keyword from your listing, click on all filters, scroll down and check star seller, and then click show results. Then head up to the URL and replace star with best. And this will bring up the best selling listings for that keyword search. Take some time to scroll through these listings and look for similarities in their product photos. Notice which images grab your attention and think about why they stand out. Look at things like how the photos are set up, lighting, the background, product placement, and overall style. See if you can spot any repetition in what the top sellers are doing right. Once you've figured out what makes these images work, think about how you can do it even better and in your own way. The idea is to use what's already successful, but add your own unique touch so your photos not only catch the eye, but help you stand out from your competition while still using some of the proven strategies we'll discuss in this video. As you do this research, it's important to remember that many factors contribute to a listing becoming a bestseller. And not all of them are about having great photos. In fact, some bestsellers may have average or even poor photos. Sure, you can sell products with less than perfect images, but think about the sales you're leaving on the table. Imagine how much more successful you could be with high quality photos that truly show your product at its best. In addition to using original photos, good lighting is essential for making images stand out. Proper lighting highlights key features, adds depth, and makes your product look more appealing and professional. This helps to replace the in-person shopping experience. Clear, sharp images draw the eye, while blurry images can be off-putting. A well-focused image ensures that the details are easy to see and understand. High contrast between colors will make your product pop. Using complementary colors, those opposite each other on the color wheel, create the strongest visual impact. A high contrast and sharpness can also grab attention. When your product is sharp and in focus, but the props in the background are blurry, it draws the shopper's eye directly to the product. A clean, simple background helps focus attention on the product itself. Avoid bright colors or busy backgrounds. This ensures that the product remains the focus. How the product is framed and cropped can emphasize its features. Also keep in mind that thumbnails are really small when shopping on mobile devices. You want to make sure your product can be seen. Negative space or empty space around the product can help make the product stand out more. It provides a clean look and directs the shopper's focus to the product itself. When you merge props with your product, everything blends together and your product doesn't stand out. Choose a setting and props that not only match the theme of your product, but that are also relevant to the customer who will buy it. Second, your thumbnail must set you apart as a seller. In a marketplace filled with similar products, your thumbnail should communicate what makes your product and brand valuable and different. One easy way to show off your product or brand's value is by adding a small graphic or icon with text to your thumbnail image. This can help shoppers see that your product is different and might be worth checking out. I recommend using this technique in two situations. First, to provide clarity on common questions shoppers may overlook, such as distinguishing between digital and physical products. Second, to highlight a key selling point that sets you apart from your competition, like variations in size, color, or material. Now, there are a few things to keep in mind when you're adding text overlays. First, be careful with the font you choose, as well as its color and size. Make sure the text is easy to read, especially on mobile devices where it can often look much smaller. Also, consider how using text or a watermark on your thumbnail might affect your listing's performance in offsite ads or its chances of being featured by Etsy. Etsy's own guidelines in their article, Tips for Getting Featured on Etsy, advises against using watermarks in your images. So if your goal is to be featured, you might want to avoid this. Each of the services listed in the offsite ads channel list their own policies that determine whether or not your listings are eligible to appear. For example, Google Ads prefer clear, high-quality photos without any text. Google Ads doesn't allow images with text overlays, which means your listings could be skipped in favor of cleaner photos. So while using graphics and text overlays can be a powerful tool, just make sure to balance the benefits with these considerations to get the best visibility and marketing results. Third, your thumbnail must build trust with the first impression. The quality of your thumbnail also reflects the professionalism of your shop. A well-lit, sharp, and detailed images suggest that you care about quality, which can translate into trustworthiness in the eyes of the shopper. If the first impression is poor, if the image is blurry, poorly composed, or unappealing, it can lead to a lack of confidence in the overall shopping experience, causing shoppers to overlook your listing or skip it entirely. As a product photography coach for makers, the question I get asked most often is, what aspect ratio should I use for my Etsy photos? There's a lot of confusion around this topic, and for very good reason. If you head to the Etsy Seller Handbook, Etsy states the first photo in a listing should be horizontal or square. But then further down, they say to avoid square crops and use an aspect ratio of 4:3. Adding to the confusion, in June and July of 2023, Etsy ran an experiment concluding that buyers are more likely to make a purchase when a shop displays square photos. Etsy states, starting in early August of 2023, listing images in your shop home will display in a square format. But as a best practice, we recommend uploading photos that work for multiple crops and ratios, like square or rectangle. Well, technically there isn't a wrong or right answer here. It's my job to run tests and educate you on the results I get. What you need to understand and take away from this video is how Etsy will make adjustments based on the aspect ratio you choose to use. So here's what my test revealed and my professional recommendation for most makers. First, let's take a look at the Etsy app and how your images display in search on mobile and tablets. Your product photos display differently depending on the device. On Android devices, images will display as a 4:3 aspect ratio in search, whereas on Apple devices, images will display as a 5:4 aspect ratio in search. However, if someone clicks into your shop homepage will display your images as a square on both Android and Apple devices. Next, let's see how your images appear on a computer browser. When shoppers search for products on Etsy using a browser, images are displayed as a square aspect ratio in both search and on your shop homepage. While these findings are based on my own tests, it's important to note that Etsy frequently runs tests themselves, which means your results might differ. Over the past year, I've observed that aspect ratios and search display formats can change based on Etsy's ongoing experiments. If you aren't seeing what I just shared, that's okay. It just means Etsy may be testing something different in your region or for your audience. My professional recommendation is to use a 4:3 aspect ratio while ensuring that your product remains within the square crop. The ideal pixel dimensions should be 2667 by 2000 with a file size under 1 megabyte. However, you can choose any aspect ratio you want as long as you understand how Etsy will crop your images based on your selection. And fourth, your thumbnail must set clear expectations. A good thumbnail sets clear expectations about the product and what the shopper will receive. It should accurately portray the condition, quality, and quantity of your products. This ensures that those who click on your listing are genuinely interested in what you have to offer, reducing bounce rates and the likelihood of returns or negative reviews due to unclear expectations. In July of 2024, Etsy introduced new creativity standards alongside updated listing image requirements. Shortly afterwards, in August, Etsy launched a new search visibility page which outlines risk factors that could potentially decrease a seller's search visibility. Here are two things I currently know to be true. First, it's prohibited to use a photo of a blank product or mock-up with placeholder text as the main image. This means your main photo or mock-up cannot include placeholder text. The first image must feature a finished, customized item similar to what buyers will receive. However, Etsy states that photos or mock-ups with placeholder text can still be used in additional listing images, just not as the main thumbnail. Second, listings for items that are sourced by a seller must include photos or video content of the actual items you have for sale, not stock or commercial images. For sellers of craft or party supplies, this means you cannot use stock or commercial images provided by your supplier. You need to take your own photos of the supplies as Etsy requires original images. Here's where things get a little bit unclear. I want to emphasize that what I'm about to share is speculation and my personal interpretation of the new policies. Etsy wants sellers to use original photos, either photos you took yourself or had someone take for you. They have stated these photos should showcase the actual finished product that you made, designed, handpicked, or sourced. Some coaches interpret this to mean that mock-ups cannot be used as the main thumbnail image unless you are selling print-on-demand items. However, I believe Etsy's main focus is on ensuring originality and accurate product representation. While purchase mock-ups may seem convenient, the widespread use of them on Etsy has led to a lack of originality, brand confusion, and distrust due to being misleading. Purchase mock-ups are generic and don't necessarily accurately represent the seller's actual product, which undermines the message of creativity and self-expression that Etsy promotes. Etsy wants original photos, and I do believe self-created mock-ups fall into that bucket. So as long as your photos are original and accurately represent what you are selling, you should be in compliance with the new policy. Regarding visibility risk factors, Etsy has not specified when these visual factors will start to impact search visibility. This suggests that these are recommendations, not specific criteria that Etsy could use to directly suppress your listings in search. By having more photos, better lighting, higher resolution, and by avoiding collages, Etsy is implying that these improvements can boost shopper engagement, leading to more sales and ultimately increased visibility. Your thumbnail image is your first opportunity to grab a shopper's attention and make a strong impression on Etsy. By using high quality, original images that clearly show your product's best features, you can stand out in a crowded marketplace and drive more clicks to your listings. Remember, a high quality thumbnail not only grabs attention, but also sets you apart, builds trust, and sets clear expectations for the shopper. Make every thumbnail count, and you'll see the difference in your views and sales. See you next time.